to begin with a song that is fairly simple. It goes, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return.
Ya'ate. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Manhattan, Kansas, located east of town across the Kansas River on Zinedale Road, and to everyone on Zoom. I'm your convener and present on my mother's side with the surnames Miller and Crossland from Brooklyn, New York and Pomona, California, respectively. Those lands were home to the Seneca in New York and the Tongva in California. On my father's side, the surnames are Perkins and Barker from Carroll, Iowa and Bristow, Oklahoma, respectively. Those lands were home to the Potawatomi Nation in Iowa and the Creek Nation in Oklahoma. I am proud of my Irish, English, Scottish, Welsh, German, Finnish, and more heritage. And I am grateful for all the lands on Mother Earth where I have lived and where I have wandered. This word on the screen, Ya'ate, is a Dene greeting. All the Dene greet each other with this word. It's always given whenever people meet. The definitions vary depending on who you ask. One definition: everything today is good with me on the surface of Mother Earth. Or, it is good that we meet today where the sun kisses the earth. Or simply, it is good, and maybe a hand signal to your heart and then sending the energy and the love out. Please share this greeting with me this morning. Ya'ate. Very good. Again, Ya'ate. Excellent. Now we are ready to greet our ancestors in a good way.
I am Isabel Call, daughter and granddaughter of women born in what is called Nyack, New York, the land of the Mohican, Munsee, Lenape, and Scotticoke people. Though racialized as white, my parents, maternal grandparents, and their parents' unions were all cross-cultural. And I am proud of my family's efforts to bridge the differences among poor English, German, and Irish immigrant and landed English and French backgrounds. I was raised in the Tennessee Valley, which you can see here, land of the Savannah River Band of Indians tribe and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. I belong to the Unitarian Universalist community of communities. Diane, will you light our chalice? Having been raised by members of the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, it is my honor to serve as minister to this sibling community, the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Manhattan. Our shared vision is to be a vibrant, inclusive congregation, widely known as a safe haven and a force for social justice. The word worship is drawn from the word worth. It means to acknowledge worthiness or it refers to the condition of worthiness. Every Sunday, not just on the eve of Indigenous Peoples Day, we give time in our worship service in acknowledgement of the land on which we gather, its ancestors and their descendants. Often we lift up wisdom from Indigenous people from these lands and other lands. We do this because the remembering and honoring of our Indigenous relations is worthy of our attention. We also do it so that we can experience the condition of worthiness, to express our integrity as people shaped by and accountable to this land, its history, and its future. And we acknowledge the land and its peoples because we cannot abide by their erasure. We cannot allow the genocide of peoples, the theft and poisoning of land, and the decimation of the white conscience through denial and lies to go on unspoken, because we love and grieve all that has been lost. And we know that the future of humanity depends on the truth being told and action taken to repair what feels irreparably broken. We tell the truth here during worship because humanity is worth saving. My intention today is to offer healing from our mythic past, that version of our history in which we are good, wholesome people pursuing our God-given prosperity across the wide open emptiness of this continent, overcoming obstacles such as British taxation and Indian attacks. We are triumphant, powerful, blessed. This mythic past is reinforced through celebrations, like an annual holiday commemorating the discovery of this continent that was already home to many. Jason Stanley, professor and scholar of philosophy and propaganda at Yale University, identifies a mythic past as a central tactic of fascism. He says fascists are always telling a story about a glorious past that's been lost, and they tap into nostalgia. So when you fight back against fascism, you've got one hand tied behind your back because the truth is messy and complex, and the mythical story is always clear and compelling and entertaining. It's hard to undercut that with facts. My first draft for my reflection was full of facts. But the healing I know we need is not a mental healing, though our minds are sick. It is a physical and a spiritual healing, a restoration of our embodied connection to land. We cannot go back to the past, but we can be fully present right here. And so our call to today, to the best of our ability, is to honor and experience Indigenous integrity in understanding Earth as body made of land. It is a spiritual orientation that gives us distance from the toxicity in our minds as colonized and colonizing people, displaced and displacing descendants of people in pain. Following Indigenous teachings, following Indigenous leadership, we feel our humanity in our bodies and act from the truth of who we are, rather than the myths that make us useful to empire. My reflection is short because there are other things we are experiencing today. So in a moment, we will hear a song by Lila June called All Nations Rise. We are sharing this and her other videos with her blessing, and we are sending her an honorarium. I encourage you to watch her full videos, which will be linked on our webpage for this service. The song we're going to hear is a call to integrity and action for people of all nations. The song channels wisdom even deeper than the remarkable young woman who wrote it, when she calls people of all nations to rise. She's not referring to colonizing mega states like the USA. That's not what she means when she says all nations rise. But if the US is not my nation, who is? That is not Lila June's problem. It is mine. I must find the earth under my feet and my connection to my people and rise with them. We must find each other and the ground under our feet and rise from that grounded place. So I encourage you, please listen, not with your ears, not just with your ears, but with your hearts and with your bodies. The hip-hop beatboxing we heard earlier, I hope you felt it. You didn't just listen and watch, but you felt it. And so at the end of the song, I'm going to ask you how you feel. Not what you think, but how you feel. And now, Lila June. Our closing words are spoken by Grandfather Lloyd Elm, an Onondaga elder who was teacher to Pat and Diane. And if the recording is maybe a bit challenging for you to understand, and so I invite you to talk with Pat after the service if you would like some clarification, but see if you can gather the meaning from his words or from his intonation.
And eventually I went to Sundance, and I learned that the minute that I can make myself insignificant is the minute that I became significant. It's odd, isn't it? I thought significance was my studying that I did or stuff like that, or the running that I did. It has nothing to do with that. I became significant the moment that I became insignificant in my mind. I'm not significant. You have the power. That's what happens at Sundance. We become insignificant. Other people become in front of us. We put other people in front of us. Our ego or whatever it is. That's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do for anybody. But I know what happens in that circle. I watched it. I watch people willingly give everything they have, offer everything that they have, to have somebody get well, to have somebody get strong, to have somebody finish 4 days. It's up to us to create that environment of healing.
Go in peace.